across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Doze, excited to be with a few more members of the Warriors 3. Will and I got to kick it old school last episode, talk about Thor versus the Sentry, and it felt like almost like we were in a time machine back to the early days of the pod. But we have grown, we have expanded, we have added more worthy members to our hosting team. And they're here. They're back. We are Sans Will, but we have Faz and Eric here to talk about the newest issue of Immortal Thor. And guys, even an immortal can die. That starts right now. Faz, just to get us kicked off, we're starting this 3-issue arc leading to what we assume is the death of the Mighty Thor, death of the Immortal Thor. I keep saying Mighty Thor.
I mean, it's both. He's immortal and he's mighty.
But when I say it, I think of Jane Foster and Jason Aaron and Russell Dodderman.
You're trying to kill Jane again. Interesting.
I wouldn't. On my worst day, I wouldn't wish that. Faz, what were kind of first impressions of Immortal Thor 23? This is we're kind of starting a big thing here.
Honestly, I'm having a problem, folks, where each individual book is better than the last individual book in a way that I keep wondering is this the greatest book of Immortal Thor, or was the last one, or was the last one, or was the last one? They're one-upping themselves, and the story is really interesting, and the writing is witty, the art is beautiful and gets better every time. The letters are just stunning. Oh, I'm really enjoying what they're doing. I'm very interested to see what happens, because Al Ewing on his Substack tweeted something to the effect of, are we really going to kill him? We've been advertising it for 6 months at this point, but is it really going to happen? Who knows? Stay around. And now I'm in my own head. Are they going to kill him, or is Al just trolling us?
What a tease. Good grief. Eric, first impressions of Immortal Thor 23, man. This Faz thinks this is the best one yet and just keeps getting better. What were your first impressions of this one?
I would say Legacy 784.
Oh,
in the running for best issue yet, easily of the year, possibly in the run so far. It had everything. It had Elder God War, it had magic, it had all power. It had a little bit of everything. It kept it interesting and definitely is building to a crescendo. We feel like something is starting to unfold here that we can't go back from, which is the point of this little run up. So
I couldn't agree with you more, man. This it's been a few months now, maybe a few weeks. I don't know. Time is relative. Where it was released, Immortal Thor 25 was going to be kind of the pausing point or the end point. However, people are kind of interpreting that. And we assume we know Thor is going to be taken off the board in some way in Thor 25, whether that's a death or he gets locked away in this eternal endless city. Don't really know how it's going to play out. Obviously, we have to read a few comics before we get to that. But these issues leading up to it, I kind of felt like we were well, we kind of know how the story ends. So what are you going to tell us in the meantime to keep us invested in that? And I feel like this issue really did that, where we got a big fight between Thor and Kemur, who is either the king of the gods or the god of violence. We probably need to clarify that and clear that up a little bit. But there's a big fight feel between Thor, Scourge and Hermod are in his corner, and Kemur, this giant minotaur looking sword wielding god, this elder god. But also we learn more about Kemur and his interactions with the Demiurge early on in time, and then Atum. So we see that come back up in the story in the lore part of the issue. Usually, I don't know, guys. What do you think about this? Sometimes in an Al Ewing book, the lore and the explanation and the the depth that they're like weaving can sometimes for me feel like a little bit of a slog, and this did not feel like a slog. This actually felt like it was moving well with what was happening in the current time as well. Am I off base there? What do you guys think about that? Kind of like how the lore has been paced.
I think the lore's been nicely spread throughout the series so far, because way back, and I think it was like issue 8, when we started seeing some of the lore with the demiurge and Adam and the elder gods, it was a lot all at once, and it was like, ooh, okay, crash course on all this ancient history stuff that we're supposed to know. But now it's been referenced enough times where it feels familiar, and getting the new exposition on the stuff that we really need to know for the here and now seems a lot easier, and it feels like a better fit. So I think, looking at this, if this was going to be in a trade, you would have all of that like building to this, and all the different sort of shenanigans, the little mini quests that happen here and there would feel like nice little refreshers. And then you'd have this longer arc that is clearly very, very grounded in Elder God and continuing this mythology.
Right. Fast.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, the lore is one of my favorite parts of an Al Ewing book. So you and I are a little different that way, Rai Guy. I like the way that Al spins all of the continuity so that it's consistent, and so that there's a canon to it in a way that a lot of other writers go, this is stupid, I'm not doing it, someone else will figure it out. Al's the one who goes, fine, I'll figure it out. And then he figures it all out and makes it all a big tree and a beautiful tapestry.
I'll pull out a ball of red string and do the pins in the wall.
Yeah, and he'll be like, astute readers will know that issue we've had for 30 years, it's not an issue anymore. I fixed it. You're welcome. I love when he does that stuff, and when like the Elder God stuff, it's kind of the meta story, right? Like Immortal Thor is a story about stories, and every time we get more lore, we go deep into there and we learn the next piece of the puzzle. And at this point, like Eric said, we're at the phase where it's been done so much that there's no more new info. It's just reminding us how fucking scary Atum is.
Yeah.
Gearing towards whatever's going to happen in this issue, issue 24, issue 25, and whatever we call it, the Mortal Thor 1 or whatever we're going with when we finally
the
relaunch.
Super Dead Thor.
Super Dead Thor number 1.
Zombie Thor number 1. I've said many times I would be so down for that. So I do agree with you, Faz. Like, I'm probably not as much of a lore junkie as you are, but I feel like this issue was perfectly balanced between,
as all things should be.
Yeah, yes. So like having that very deep lore dump that we get, and told in really cool ways, like the way that Al uses language to, make things sound very epic in those long almost like monologues about what was happening in these prior primordial times. But then in the current time, we get this 3-on-1 handicap match where, one of them is like he's basically like Dario Agger, the Minotaur, but like a kaiju, which, I'm forever here for that. Like a giant mythological villain is the key to my heart most times. So, well, I guess how do you guys want to like break this down? Because we have a little bit of but let's sit with that for just a second. But I'll just introduce the issue. Like, it's called Come at the King, and you take that two different ways, I guess. Thor is the Allfather; he's the king of Asgard, and also Kemur is he's the king of the gods, of the elder gods. He is the embodiment of what it means to be king, or to be a king. And Al tells us a lot about that in the lore dump portion. This is written by Al Ewing, pencils and inks by Jan Basil Dua, colorist Matt Hollingsworth, the lettering god Joe Sabino, always the stalwart, and edited by Will Moss and Danny Kazim. So that's our creative team for Come at the King, Immortal Thor number 23. But fellas, how do we want to break this down? Do we want to do like the past stuff as a thing, the current stuff as its own thing? Go through it linearly. What feels right tonight?
I think we should first start with the cover, because it's maybe the best cover of the entire series so far. I know I've been saying that a lot recently.
And it reinforces my theory that sometimes when the cover has nothing to do with the issue, you get the most banger, like interesting stuff happening. Because
Your
this
theory
is
is
not
well founded.
Yeah, this has nothing to the hall of Aisher stairs or whatever have nothing to do with this issue.
It is an
Yeah,
MC Escher painting.
it's Nurgle and the Nurgleites, right? Which doesn't matter because we've already reached the center of Nurgle. We don't care anymore, Nurgle. You were last
Nurgle and the
issue. Get the hell out of here.
Nurgleites. I think I've got tickets to see them next week. Actually,
Yeah. We're seeing them together, but we're
Yeah,
probably
no,
gonna get stuck on our way over there. We're gonna get lost.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I think the Talking Tor mods are opening for them. But Eric, you were about to say something. How do you think we should handle this?
Let's just like flip through in order and kind of graze at the tasty bits. How about that?
Raise at the tasty bits. We're gonna get that on a T-shirt for Eric. Graze on the tasty bits. Okay, so where our issue begins is this this standoff between Kemur and Atum in the primordial time. Lot of really fantastic monologue here, but it ends with Kemur in the present day holding Heimdall basically as like a trophy in front of Thor, and Thor and Hermod and Scourge, they go to rescue Heimdall. They're kind of trying to come up with a plan to face off against Kemur, and I love well, the first thing is Thor's thought process behind fighting this monster, this elder god. He thinks to himself, an elder god is a living idea. To gaze on him is to know his nature, who he is, and what, and a ruler
Can a ruler fight the embodiment of rule?
Completely missing a word there. Can a ruler fight the embodiment of rule? Can a king battle kingship? And then Kemur, like, fantastic Jan Basil do a panel when Kemur like lunges at Thor.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Strength is in action. Love it.
Strength is in action. So we get the first initial clash between Thor and this giant elder god Minotaur. His sword almost reminds me of like the size of Surtur's sword coming down on Thor's hammer. Giant like explosion from that, but then he follows up with Tormod, and Tormod actually makes the god bleed, and kind of like that common thing of like, if I know that from the Predator movie, but it's like, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
I mean, Marvel did that with Thanos. Tony got just a drop of blood, right?
Right. Well, so Eric, what did you think about this first little like salvo, this volley of Thor and Kemur facing off, or the past information with Kemur and Atum and him being really the only god that Kemur fears?
Well, we get reminded that Atum or Adam or however you pronounce that is half brother to Thor.
Yes,
because
son of Gaia
is son of Gaia. So it was Gaia and Demiurge formed Adam, and Gaia and Odin make Thor. So half brothers, which means Thor's got a little piece of this mojo, of this super strong elder god mojo. To not count him out, but Adam is a little bit more, I guess, purebred elder god, because the the super creator,
he hasn't been diluted.
He hasn't been diluted down. Listeners, if you want to check out Thor Annual number 10, there's a lot more Atom lore in that as well, especially along with the Demogorge, which is another version of Atom as the God Eater. So I wonder if we're going down that path. I don't think we will, because that's, I think, been played out a couple times already, but we haven't seen pure form Atom against Thor ever, I don't think.
Just a quick piggyback off that, Eric. I love in the narration, Al describes Atum as Atum the demo side, Atum, Slayer of Gods, Atum, Breaker of Thrones. Obviously, with Kemur being the king of the gods, the embodiment of what it means to rule and be the king, the concept of kingship. I love that he's described, his adversary is described as the breaker of thrones. It was great way of getting multiple points across and how they describe this other character. Faz, what do you think about the kind of the first section of the issue with these face-offs of Kemur with Atum and Thor?
I mean, I love the kind of the build-up as to how is this Atum and Kemur fight going to go. I love the build-up of Thor and Kemur kind of testing each other, and Scourge being like, "This guy's so cool. I love Thor. He's such a fun king." and Hermod being like, "I don't know what the fuck we're planning right now, but let's have some fun, I guess." And then I really love seeing Thor think through it. The thought bubble is strong here, and I'm glad to see his like thought process during the fight. And I like how we're getting closer and closer to that image that we've been given since the annual leading into Immortal Thor, of how Thor is going to look right before something happens.
I mean, that I believe you, Faz, was that you that shared that in our most worthy group chat? And I hadn't even thought about that image in forever of that last lasting image from that initial that annual that kind of bridged the gap between the end of Donnie's
because there's no mistakes in there. All the details are going to have to match, and so Thor did not have a cape in that image. But
he rips it off at some point in this issue.
Right.
Yep. Right after the initial salvo, right? Because it got all destroyed. So we're now capeless, but something does change. Does anybody know? Does anybody remember what happens from the image? Eric, I think you were thinking about this earlier.
Well, in the image that we've seen again and again of the prophecy of this vision of Thor bloodied, about to meet his demise, he's wearing the belt. And in this very issue, the belt is transformed. It's transmogrified by the Odin Force and turned into a nose ring, right? And he's going to try to lead the bull by the nose and take control here by frickin' giving the god of kings, this giant ass bull, a nose piercing to pull him from the nose. Insane.
Tame an elder god.
I couldn't even imagine this if I tried to. Like that's why I love this issue so much. It's because we're seeing some Odin Force action. We're seeing some creativity, and I'm like, how's the belt going to play? I'm like, oh, he's turning it into something totally different. Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, we've only got a couple issues left. Al is completing an entire 25 book run where Thor never wins a fight just by beating the guy until he dies. He always thinks his way out of the solution the whole time, which is so much cooler than just I'm losing, but then I hit him one more time with the hammer and now I win.
Yeah.
Literally, on the previous listener, on the previous episode in this feed, you will hear Will and I talk about the first time that Thor beat the Sentry, which eventually in that storyline in Siege became the Void. The Void is one of the most powerful entities in all of Marvel, and what happens at the end of that fight was Thor just hits it harder. Like, he beats one of the most powerful entities on Earth by just hitting it again. And this is, I agree with Faz, like, this is one of the brilliant strokes of this run is Thor is not just the guy that swings the hammer harder. You know, it's like, oh, well, usually swinging the hammer works for me, but if I just do it a little harder, you know, that's fine. Like, I enjoy a good Saturday morning cartoon comic, you know, where it's just, you know, smash, bang them up, you know, throw your action figures in the box and see what happens. But this run, we're getting to a point where he has not won a fight by just hitting someone harder. Faz, I love that.
It's like as simple as the first fight. He makes the storm stop and is mad at them for snowing without him saying permission. All the way into this fight where he's taming the king of the elder gods to go for the next step.
Well, and it's a commentary on dictatorship. It's a commentary on masculinity. It's a commentary on, you know, blind action versus measured thoughtfulness, and to see who's actually going to win, because clearly, and that's where I think a good fight scene does. You hear this all the time when it comes to movies and things like that. A good fight scene has to move the characterization or the plot forward. It can't just be a fight for the sake of being a fight. And so this fight, we learn about the personality and the values of each of the different sides by their tactics and by what they're thinking and saying during the fight. So we know that Kemur values action above planning. And so that he's exposing that, and we're learning that about him during the fight. And so, that's what eventually comes back to bite him in the ass, because he hasn't thought these multiple moves ahead and considered what might happen. But then, the themes of this is the embodiment of rule, of kingship, and the faults and the flaws in that is a resounding, I think, commentary on dictatorship and society.
Yeah, well, and everybody, like this. Obviously, we when we do these reviews, we spoil the crap out of this, but you should still go read this because there's not a lot of dialogue and monologue that we're gonna read. This is one that I would like to read because it was actually my favorite line of the entire book. When we kind of go from the past to the present, and we see Atum. It says he raised his fiery hand to Kemur.
Whoa. Before we get there, we got to talk more about the flashback. What's happening, Rye Guy? We can't just quote the end of the flashback without going through it all.
Then proceed.
Okay, so right as Thor has put the ring in Kemur's schnoz, in his boopable schnoz.
Is that a technical term?
He has a sting of memory from the last time he was humbled by one of Gaia's spawn. He's brought back to the time when he's fighting Atum, when the elder gods stand in fear behind him, and there's a beautiful shot of Jan giving Utgard Loki truly sad eyes and concerned eyes, almost like a little Utgard puppy dog, while he's sitting behind
look very
Kemur,
sad
because he's like, oh fuck. And everybody says, and Ryan, I'm going to let you finish it, but nothing breathed, nothing twitched. Atum grew brighter. The elder gods drew back from them both. This would be the moment. They all knew the contest would decide their fates. And what happens, Ryan?
As Atum raised a fiery hand, Kemur, he ran, and with his sword in hand he ran, with his horns like knives he ran, on his trampling hooves he ran, and hid and cowered, and he prayed to Atum, God Killer, that his dreadful fire might leave none behind who knew the truth Kemur had etched in stone that day, that all kings are cowards, that the strength of any king is a lie true only to those who believe it. And I sent that screen grab to the guys immediately, and I was like, Al's commentating on something. And I love how he phrases it though. The true strength of a king comes from the people who believe that person has power. And I was just like, God, that's so fucking good. And that was like, honestly, that was the main like part of this issue I left with, was his commentary on rulership and kingship and who actually gives a leader their power. It's the people that follow them. Because if you strip back the followers, the leader doesn't have anybody to back up their insanity or their plans or all that. Read between the lines if you must. Faz, thank you for reminding me of the lore there, because
context is key, my friend.
Oh my God, you sound like a teacher. Scourge and Hermod join in the fight, but really like Thor is the one that's getting these big blows with the hammer. And honestly, these last few panels of the fight are where I think Jan is doing their best work in this issue. The close-ups on Kemur's face, the hammer flying through this dark kind of background.
Thor in full Goku poses.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like literally, there was so much, like explosions and, quick moving, kind of panels in this issue that I almost was waiting for the last panel to be like, next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Well, imagine getting that instructions in the script where it says, Thor takes a nose ring and like pierces the nose of a bull that's like 30 stories tall. And how do you draw that?
How does one boop that schnoz is the question.
Yeah.
It's like, man, Al is on the good shit. And Jan's like, how do I do this? Or, what would be even cooler is if Jan reads that description and it's like, I know exactly what to do. Like that's if I could draw like this, good grief. Well then, guys, there is a certain cameo, little guest appearance that we get towards the end here, because Kemur is kind of down for the count, but then this the final arrow in Kemur's side that fells the elder god comes from a bow shot by a character that we thought was gone from this book forever ago. And if you haven't read any other Marvel comics and you only read Thor, this will be surprising. But Loki's back, Eric. So what? Like, it's kind of unexpected, I guess, or maybe
isn't Loki on the run from killing a random magician in Asgard right now? What is happening?
I thought. Isn't Loki teaming up with Doctor Strange at this point?
Loki does whatever they want. And one of my favorite lines from this Immortal Thor run so far is when Thor banishes Loki from Asgard and from my sight. Yeah, and so there's a callback in this where he's like, I banished you from my sight and I used the all power to do it. So he's like, wait, you explicitly disobeyed me.
You explicitly disobeyed me.
And you disobeyed the all power. What the hell, man? I didn't know you could do that. Yeah.
And worse, you put Hermod in danger.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. I love that, though.
So, Ryan, Loki appears. Kemur is very angry. He's a raging bull. He even goes rawr, which I love.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
What happens next, my guy?
Kemur dies.
How? What happens?
Well, it's shot with a mysterious weapon.
Okay, and what do we know about the weapon, my friend?
Oh, Faz, I know nothing about the weapon because the source material this weapon comes from is related.
Well, I mean, let's start with the book. It's a piece of eternity that fell into Loki's hands centuries ago. It was forged into a weapon to end the power of kings. This seemed like a good way to end this king, is what Loki says. Very God of Stories like.
Makes sense.
I'm just sitting back enjoying your explanation.
No more context needed, man. A piece of eternity that fell into the hands ages ago. What could that possibly be an homage to? My dearest Hercules, you know everything. What's the answer?
You know everything.
I am the Prince of Preparedness, and I have staked a reputation for myself of doing due diligence and deep dives on all of the material before we talk about it on the podcast.
I expect you to have read everything about this.
I unfortunately have no idea what it's talking about. So
yeah, so listeners, we're all taking guesses. We read a few reviews that say this is a direct reference to what happened in the Venom War event with past Loki. So our best across the Bifrost guess, even the omniscient, the omniphascient Immortal All-Fazer does not know for certain, but we think that Loki was given a anti-King in Black weapon thousands of years ago and used it to end Kemur. Is everybody okay with that official explanation? That will be the Across the Bifrost canon until the Allfather corrects us.
I do love so much that Faz will find any way to just jam his name into another word.
That's the same word, to be fair. Omniphascient is the one I use a lot. Yeah.
Oh.
I was just gonna say, I bet probably in the very first page of issue 24, we're gonna get like an explainer of like, and obviously the arrow was this, and we'll say thank you, Al Ewing for explaining it to us.
I think it's the way. I think that Al's done spoon feeding us. People were annoyed when he would put in the asterisk, and he's like, "Screw y'all, you don't know what this is from anymore. It doesn't matter. Let's go." Yeah.
Part of sometimes when I'm reading this book, I'm like, I need someone to hold my hand because I don't know where I'm going in this book. And other times, like on a very like cynical day, I'll be like, oh, if you don't get it, you just don't get it. Like, just don't read the book then. Like, I'm very black and white, like the no gray area sometimes on this book. But I think it ends in a really cool reveal of, like, within the context of Immortal Thor. We haven't seen Loki in a while, and it's really nice. It was been like 9 issues. Because I think it was issue 15 or 16 was when Thor banished Loki after the fight with Zeus, where he made the Yorgzald belt.
Sure.
But that's where why not? That's where we end this issue. Guys.
Sorry. One more thing. Loki, the storyteller, not the character of Loki,
the narrator, yes,
consistently apologizes to Thor. It's been happening throughout the whole run, and in this one, it happened multiple times.
Yeah, Hercules? the same exact kind of apology that we got right after Loki reformed Bifrost in issue number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So I wonder if that's just a reference to the fact that Loki is leading Thor like a pig to slaughter to die for our sins here, or whether or not there's more that we will learn. We'll have to see.
To die for our sins?
This is my opportunity. I haven't been here since this happened, guys. We have a new pope. He's an American pope.
Damn it.
The Roman Catholic in me is excited. Rye Guy clearly missed where I was going with that one. He is planning to die for our sins. I'm very happy for him. He'll rise again.
Holy Christ.
Immortal Thor has been... Yes, holy Christ. You are correct, my friend.
That's why we started calling Thor His Holiness.
Immortal Thor has been described as the New Testament since before it even began. We're about to be at the climax, one might say, of the New Testament.
You're picking such visceral words.
I am descriptive.
I love that there's been a new pope since we've recorded an episode together, Faz, and I was just like, oh, it'll never come up. I won't even think. But it's like, no, Faz will find a way to bring it up.
I will find a way to bring it up. 100%. There's no way the pope won't be mentioned. My only regret is that Will's not here.
Faz, remind me, who was the first Canadian pope?
Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. Do you think that this American is proud to be an American pope? You don't think he's extremely ashamed of you idiots over there?
I love,
he literally gave up on Twitter and only returns to lecture the vice president. That is not a good. That you can't be proud of that.
I do love the idea that, like, Vance was one of the last people to meet with Francis, and the Pope Leo was like, I ain't getting me, man. Nope,
Apparently he's going to the first mass, and I'm sure Leo's going to make sure he's at least a few rows away, because I wouldn't risk it,
Oh my God. Anyway, our thoughts on modern Catholicism aside, guys, final thoughts for Immortal Thor 23, kind of the opening chapter of this, final arc, the beginning of the end, to use the phrase. Eric, what do we think about this one as a whole? How are you feeling going forward into 24?
10 out of 10. The action's amazing. The lore's amazing. I don't know why more people don't have this in like their top 5 list. I see people like reviewing their polls of the week and stuff, and I'm like, this needs to be on everybody's radar. Like, there's really big, cool stuff happening, and even if someone isn't really familiar with what's going on, the death of Thor is going to be kind of a big deal. Like, jump in on this action. This is going to be something I think people are talking about, hopefully, because Marvel comic line wide, they're making room, they're making space for this to be its own thing, and
they're
to give it
gravitas.
They're holding space for it, so we should hold space for it.
Oh my God. So you both said it in the same inflection, like you were the least sincere you could possibly be. But also, like, actually, just to follow up on that point in a little bit of a serious way, there have been so many advertisements in Marvel Comics over the last few months where it's literally just the gray background, even an Immortal can die, Immortal in red, and it's just that. It's like, was it June 2025 or something like that? It shows like the date of issue 25 being, that climactic issue, but that it's being advertised in the books, and I think that is kind of an indicator of like what is Marvel trying to get you to cross read. Obviously, we're trying to get you to read One World Under Doom, but like when you're not doing that, are you going to read, Spider-Verse versus Venomverse? Are you going to read, the closing issues of this Thor arc that Al Ewing's doing? I think it's a good sign of where Thor stands in the priority list right now. But I agree, Eric. This is a book that people should be picking up, if not even in single issues, in trades when they come out. Faz, what do you think overall feelings on this one, and how are you kind of feeling going forward?
I'm in complete agreement. It's a 10. It's just there are few books that immediately get devoured when I get them and then immediately want to be reread. And Al Ewing Thor has been that for me the whole time. I don't know if everybody remembers the other runs we've covered. There are sometimes times when there are individual books that don't grip the same way for Thor. Mm-hmm. These ones haven't done that. Apart from a few arcs that were specifically breathers to help us relax a bit after some huge runs. Yeah. This has been all gas and no brakes, and it's reaching towards this climax that is going to be special. The art has been sublime. The writing is incredible. I think, what did I say at the beginning? Everybody's on the top of their game, and it's going to be one hell with one L of a conclusion, I think.
Ooh, that is significant. Hell with one L, sure. I agree with you as well, Faz, and just to piggyback off that one, like the fact that like I feel like Jan is finally like, and we said this for so long, like it sounds redundant. It sounds like we're just saying the same thing over and over and over again. But in this issue, I felt like Jan was really just firing on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, what happens to their version of Thor in 2 issues when this run is over? Like, I'm completely speculating. Is this a thing where like Jan gets to pick up the ball whenever Thor's ongoing title returns? Because it is one of those titles, like how often is there not a Thor title? Not that often. Even if there's a gap, the gap is usually not, one of those undefined amounts of time. Like, it's kind of inevitable. We're going to get another Thor volume. So will Jan get to pick up the ball again? I think that's one of my big questions going towards the end of this run is that a continuation with Jan, or is there what's going to happen with the artwork? Because we know presumably Al is going to be the one that gets to tell the story, but how will it be shown to us? And people are just firing on all cylinders, and I'm just very curious.
Well, and it's worth pointing out that if Jan doesn't return, they've had a really nice run here of something like almost 20 issues, I think, where they've 20? Really been killing it. Because Martine left it at what, 8? So maybe it'll be 17 issues.
Well, remember we had fill-in issues for about 4 or 5.
So maybe it's about 15.
Probably about 10 or 11.
Once it's done, there's going to be around 15, and it's been quite the run. And you've seen Jan grow into Thor in a really impressive way, where now we can see them do these giant bull gods and really enjoy it. So if this is it, thank you for your service. You have been awesome on Thor. And if you get to continue, hell fucking yeah.
Hell with one L, fucking yeah.
Hell with one L, exactly.
HE single hockey stick.
Oh, so
HE single hockey stick.
Folks, Hercules spent 30 seconds in Canada last week, and he has converted. I'm very excited.
So, Faz, to answer your question definitively, at the end of issue 25, it will be Jan will have done 13 issues.
Okay. Yeah, that's a damn good run, I think.
Yeah, like a full year and some change. I mean, working on it the whole time and delivering banger action, dynamic poses with like a slightly painterly style, like a little bit of like, it's not cartoony. It almost has like a brushstroke look to it, but it's not. But it's also still very like. I keep using the word like intentional and like clear. It's very like. It's not too muddled or sketchy.
And you're right. It's more art like for something like this that is a maybe art like's the wrong word for something like this that is a myth. It's not
Art is very
meant to
art-like,
be,
Vaz.
but it's not like in the way that a lot of digital artists will result in just it's almost like photoreal. It's very strong brushstrokes, very clear. Jan's is more like what if it's a Renaissance painting? You know, like the same that Assad's pencils were always a little bit less defined, and Jan kind of does that. Very different artist than Assad Ribic, but a similar vibe of not the sharp, exacting, completely real, but more of like a story, because that's what we're doing. We're telling a story about stories.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the very painterly style that came to my mind, Faz, was Mike Del Mundo. There's almost no hard lines on what he does, like what he like does more now. It's very kind of flowy and very, almost feels like you're looking at the image through like a mist. And that's like, and I think Assad and Mike were able to channel into that like otherworldliness look of Thor and Thor's world. And I truly believe Jan has found a really good balance of that, like, still the hard lines, still those defined forms, but also like some of these panels with Kemur, like the body is fading, kind of mixing in with the background and the dark shadows in the back. And we know that Jan's doing their own inks. So getting to really, really play with the background and the foreground and mesh them together has been really nice. So a lot of art talk towards the end there, but we do.
Okay, one more art talk thing. Everybody buy the connecting covers for Cocolo. The man's a fucking genius.
Sake,
everybody get in there.
Tell you that. But sorry, I got so excited. No,
Eric's like, everybody can just relax, please, God.
Yeah. Go buy Martin's covers. They are phenomenal. And if you haven't seen them, go check out his Instagram. He shared the kind of the whole connecting thing. It's almost like a banner. But a
banner of war, if you will.
Throwback. Faz also, my headcanon says that the little boy in the bottom left hand corner of issue 23's variant cover is either Faz boy or Faz young Faz.
Yeah. So the question is it a kid cosplaying? Is it a kid cosplaying me while holding a toy of me beside Thor? Is it me as a child? Am I the miniature one? Am I like an Ant-Man because I'm not very tall? There's so many options it could be. Will's in the background. There's Beta Ray Will back there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. I'm sure Hercules is there if we look close enough. Same with Volstagg. I see some purple, so perhaps that's him when we get the other connecting covers.
The connecting covers are awesome. And I honestly, this was my favorite of the variants that Martin shared, but the other two are also just stellar. So you need to go get those, and be sure to show Martin some love and on social media and stuff, and just enjoy the fantastic art. Eric, do we have anything else before we wrap up this review of Immortal Thor 23 that you would like to get off your chest, or what was the thing you said earlier? Something about nuts. I don't know.
What?
It made me laugh.
Nuts?
I don't know. It made me laugh in the moment, and I completely forgot it. I don't know. Meds are wearing off, dude. So, Eric, anything else we need to say before we leave this review?
Did we mention how Kemur was changed from the god of violence to the god of kings?
Oh, we didn't. You should bring that up.
Yeah. I referenced it. Yeah.
In the solicitation for this issue that was distributed in print before it came out, the teaser for it very clearly says that issue 23 is going to be Thor up against the god of violence. And it makes me wonder, was this changed a couple months out? Was it changed a few weeks out? Because maybe, if you look at it, the art might not even need to change that much to have the narration change to be talking about a story about the god of kings or kingship. You could use almost the same artwork and just
Yeah.
change the words on it. So it's a thinker. It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if there's anything that happened approximately 4 months ago that would result in Al Ewing thinking, should I change my thought to make it a comment on people who would be king? I don't know. I'll leave that to all of you guys, dear listeners, to guess at what he might be getting at. It's hard to say.
Huh.
Mainly because if we say it out loud, they disappear us now. So it sounds like maybe Alcatraz going forward. Hard to say what happens, really.
Heck of a museum.
Heck of a museum. They should really bring it back, though. I think that's what the discussion is.
God damn. Guys, I love this. I love our reviews. We have quite a few episodes coming up where we're going to be talking about other new issues that are coming up. We're leading up to a few big issues. Obviously, issue 24 and 25 of Immortal Thor. We have more Doctor Strange of Asgard coming up, and eventually we get Thor versus Godzilla. I'm not saying it's the comic I'm looking forward to this summer, but
I think it comes out the same week as Immortal Thor 25. There's a possibility that it's at the
we
same
might
time.
need to be here for a few hours. I'm just gonna like get our calendars all lined up and find the time to give those books the time they deserve. Yeah, guys, this has been a lot of fun. Listener, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Appreciate you very, very much. If you want to continue the conversation, please check out the links in the episode description. We have Instagram, Discord, and Patreon, all great ways to support the show, to interact with us. Discord is a lot of fun because we have a small but mighty band, of people there that we don't just talk comics. We talk a lot about comics. We talk about movies, sports, random stuff. It's a great group there. So you're more than wanted if you want to continue the conversation there. On Instagram, you can contact us and just let us know what you think about the show. But really, the best way to support the show is Patreon. For a few bucks a month, you're going to get early episodes, bonus episodes, and you're just going to know about like big stuff that we're doing beforehand. So it's our way of just letting you know we appreciate you, and the donations really go to just keep the lights on, pay for Zoom, pay for Marvel Unlimited, those kind of things. None of us have quit our day jobs yet. We hold out hope. But guys, we're gonna hop aboard the Rainbow Bridge and we're gonna get out of here. So whether you're fighting a giant elder god who is the embodiment of kingship and rulership, whether your mysterious brother has reemerged in your life and you don't really know why because you distinctly remember banishing him from your sight. Whatever is going on in your world, in your slice of the 9 realms, we do hope that you remember to do one thing, and that is to stay worthy.
So, folks, July 2nd has Absolute Superman, Godzilla vs. Thor, and the Immortal Thor 25.
Fuck me, son.
That's the day that I returned from Britain.
From Britain.
From the United Kingdom, isn't it?
He be reading the comics.
In it.
Isn't it, bro?
Important question, Ryan. Do you have enough time for us to spend 30 minutes on this?